Hello everybody, welcome back. This is our last day. That is something to be grateful for. And the song we're going to sing, it's titled I'm No Longer a Slave to Fear. And I just want this to be a prayer. I want you to be strong. Feel free to join us. Feel free to just open your heart and lift up your arms as a sign of surrender. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. You unravel me with a melody, and you surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, until all my fears are gone. Say, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, Jesus. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Your love has called my name, and I've been born again to a family. Oh, your blood flows through my veins. We say, oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear, and I am a child of God. Oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, we're children of God, and that is who we are. And I am surrounded by the arms of the Father. I Oh, I am a child of God. Sing with me. Sing. And I'm no longer a slave to fear. Yeah. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, Jesus, I am a child of God, Jesus.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome for a very final day of camp. This is day 4, and we are excited that you have been part of that you chose to be part of all the 4 days. Now, if you have been watching from day 1, we just want to say asante sana. Thank you very much for choosing to watch. Just all the way from the beginning. But if you know that you have just plugged in today, this is your, this is your first day for camp. Thank you also very much for watching. Now, I want to advise you that there are very many other sessions that have already happened. You can still go on our page, Transform Camp, and you will be able to watch all the other different sessions. Now, I know we are watching from different parts of the world. It could be that you're watching from Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda. Thank you so much for plugging in. Daniel.
Yes.
Now, knowing that being part of United Faith Chapel, one of the things that God has blessed us with is the fact that we have different nationalities in church, right? Different nationalities. And
Albert, why don't you greet us in the different languages? Your language.
In my language.
What is your language? First?
My language. My tribe mates. I want to say Mulimuta.
About which tribe is that one?
Mulimuta. This is Batoro.
Mulimuta.
And for my friends from the my French speaking friends, I just want to say bonjour.
That one comes with
yeah, it comes with authority.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. And my friends from Rwanda and Burundi, bite bianyu. Bite.
I'm told those guys have beautiful guys.
You're married, my brother.
I'm talking on your behalf. Look at you. All right.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for choosing to be part of camp. You go ahead on the comment section, right? You go ahead on the comment section as Daniel is preparing to greet us in different languages. Go ahead on the comment section, and you can be able to share with us. Say hello to us in your language. Just go ahead and share to us. Say hello to us in your language. Daniel, why don't you go ahead and welcome us in different languages?
I'm laughing because when I talk my language, they begin saying, "Man, are you talking Chinese? Or that's the language of heaven that we're supposed to learn?"
Oh, you're speaking in tongues?
No, of course, yes. Actually, it's in tongues because you don't understand what I'm saying. Now, let me say, my fellow guys from the highlands of Sebei, Kapchorwa, Eastern Uganda, Ajamake, Angwene. You guys are laughing.
My friends, Ajamake, Angwene.
Wow. Our guys from Kenya and the Swahili people all over the globe, actually. Very many people speak Swahili.
Yes.
Habari zenu. Tumefurahi sana kuona. Asante kukuja. Is it kukuja? Asante kutuunga. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Kutuunga.
For joining. It's to join.
Kutuunga, isn't it? Okay.
Not kutunga. Look at this guy. The guys from Spanish. Hola. The guys say that what I see.
Hola.
Hola. Let me add this one. This was in the list. Japanese guys. Chinese brothers.
Daniel, please, you don't want to commit sin on live TV, eh?
That was a joke.
This is not true. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for being part of our very final day of camp. Camp is such an amazing experience where we get to be ignited, where we get to be, inspired, encouraged, even with the circumstances and the difficulties we have faced in 2020. Camp is helping us understand that we can arise and shine, just like our theme goes.
Sure.
Arise
and shine.
Shine, for your light has come, and the glory of God has risen upon you. You are blessed. Yeah, and I'm glad that you are going to tap into that. We are always looking forward, Daniel. Yeah, aren't you looking forward for camp where we can get to meet physically?
Oh, yes, my friend. Ah, that one. I usually enjoy it. You know, I'm always the timekeeper in the camp.
Yeah.
Those of you who have never been, those of you, of course, who have been there, you know. When I say hello, those of you know the answer. Put it there. What do we usually respond? Now, for those of you who will be wondering what is this answer, join us next year for camp.
Yeah.
Same time, actually.
Yeah. Camp will have even more. Even next year's camp will have many other different experiences where we get to have sports. There's a lot of games, and you don't want to miss it. There is swimming always around the lake shores. You know the lake shores of our beautiful Uganda.
This one, don't forget it.
Eating, eh?
Food competition.
Oh, Daniel was able to win one of the.
He's deceiving you. I need to win.
But anyways, we are looking forward to have fun together in next year's camp. But for this one, we are glad that you chose to be part of this amazing camp that has happened virtually. And we are always excited that you can choose to be part of camp every other year. Thank you so much. Invite a friend, to call a friend, just to be able to plug in for this very session that we are headed for.
And just to get us into the session, you know, is usually when the man of God is coming, humble yourself. Man of God is passing. You know, someone of the Lord is coming. This man is a servant of God, and I am very, very sure you will be blessed. You will like the session because God has always used him in amazing ways. He's a missionary here in Uganda, the president for World Gospel Mission, the Uganda chapter, and he's also a co-director with our director of University Discipleship Movement, and they are doing good stuff with young people, and great things are happening. Transformation is happening all over. And so I'll ask you to get that pen and paper if you're writing down, that notepad, wherever you're making sure you're recording something that God is teaching you. So get that and get set. Keep your eyes on that screen. Don't move here and there. Don't change to any other thing. Otherwise, enjoy the session.
We're so thankful that you are able to join us for camp this year. We wish that we could be together where we can just see each other in person, where we can eat together, where we can sing together, where we can play games together, where we can eat together, where we can hang out together, where we can worship together, where we can dance together. I know what you're thinking. Reverend Mayo doesn't dance. Well, in my heart I dance, and in my mind I dance, but it doesn't always look that pretty in person, so I don't do it. But one day when I get to heaven, I'll be able to dance, and we'll dance together. Did I mention eating together? Yeah, I love it when we eat together, especially matoke, but we're missing that this year. There's no way to give you matoke virtually. But we are so thankful that even with all the challenges that we've gone through this year and all the difficulties that we've gone through, that we can still have camp. Even though it's not in person, we can still have camp and we can glorify God. As you are well aware, and you can see behind me, this year our theme in Transform Camp 2020 is Arise and Shine, and it's based on Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1. Arise and shine, for the light has come. The glory of the Lord rises upon you. We've already had some wonderful sessions. We've been talking about shining within. We can't be a light for Jesus and shine in a dark world unless, first of all, we maintain our own growth and our own spiritual walk. If we don't have the light of Jesus shining in us, then we can't allow it to shine out of us. Shining out was another session that we had. We are all called to represent Jesus in our spheres of influence and be a shining light for him wherever he takes us, and use us however he wants to, using our spiritual gifts, our experiences, our talents and our skills, even our networking, to fulfill our God-given purpose and responsibility. Today, though, we want to speak about shining together. And I want us to take a little bit of time and look at John chapter 8, verse 12. John chapter 8, verse 12. This is what it says. Again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Now, I would like for us to look at a little bit of background of what was happening as this verse was taking place. I think it will help us to understand and even appreciate it more. You remember in the Old Testament, we have the stories of the Israelites and how they had been enslaved in Egypt for 400 years. And then God sends Moses, and he brings them out of Egypt, out of slavery, into freedom. But because of their disobedience, they end up wandering through the desert for 40 years. But during that whole time, the whole 40 years, God had a cloud, a pillar of cloud during the daytime to lead them. And at night, there was a pillar of fire that was lighting their way. God was literally lighting the way for them. And during those 40 years, they also lived in tents. Now, in the law, God created a special festival, a special occasion for the Israelites so that they could observe and remember what God had done for them in those 40 years. It was called, and it's still called, the Feast of Tabernacles. For 7 days in the month of October, Israelites were required to come to Jerusalem. They were from wherever they were, they came to Jerusalem, and they lived in tents, another name for tabernacles. And they still do that today. By the time of Jesus, this Feast of Tabernacles had gotten to be such an elaborate affair. There were 4 huge candelabras. Now, you may be saying, what is a candelabra? This is a candlestick. I couldn't find a candelabra, but imagine with me that there were 4 of these. So there would be 4 on this stand, on this stick. So by the time that Jesus came, they had 4 of these stands, just like this, let's say. But instead of being like this, it was nearly 23 meters tall. Okay? And each one of these, 4 on each one, and then 4 of these held about 10 gallons or nearly 38 liters of oil. And each one of them had a ladder going up to it, where you would go up to it, and every night, as the sun began to go down, they would light these fires. They would light these different candelabras. And each night, it would just light up the whole city. And you could see this from across the whole city. You could see these lights as there were 4 different stands, like I said, nearly 23 meters tall. And each one of those stands had 4 golden bowls on top of there filled with this oil. This ritual was called the illumination of the temple. Now, the rabbis had long taught that the Messiah was to be referred to as the light. They would look at passages like in Isaiah 42:1 and Isaiah 42:6 and 7. Let me read it for you. Behold my servant whom I uphold, my chosen in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him. He will bring forth justice to the nations. I am the Lord. I have called you the chosen one in righteousness. I will take you by the hand and keep you. I will give you as a covenant for the people, a light for the nations, to open the eyes that are blind, to bring out the prisoners from the dungeon, from the prison those who sit in darkness. But they would also use the same verse that we're using for our theme this year, but they would just add a little bit more. It wasn't just the first verse, Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1, but they would add up to 3. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will be seen upon you. and nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. God's intention was that the Israelite nation would live in such a way that they would be a light. That they would be a light to the nations around them. And that the nations around them would come to know God because of the way the Israelites lived and the way that they shined together. We know that that was not always true, but that was God's plan and that was God's intention, that they would be such a shining example together that other nations would be drawn to God and come to know the true and living God. The Messiah was seen as the light who would come into the world. So why am I telling you all of this? Why is this so important? Well, I'm telling you this, and this is very interesting. I'm telling you this because most scholars believe that during Jesus' time, as John chapter 8:12 was being spoken, that it was taking place on the last day of this festival. Remember, I said it for 7 days. At sundown, they would light all these candelabras, and it would just shine across the city. And on the 7th day, as these flames were beginning to go out, most scholars believe this is as they were waiting for the Messiah, as the rabbi was proclaiming that the Messiah was coming, most scholars believe that as the fire was beginning, as the candelabras were beginning to grow dim, is when Jesus stood up and said these words, "I am the light of the world. I am the light that has come. I am the Messiah who has been promised. I have come into a dark world to give light." Wow. Do you get that? Here, these candelabras, these huge candelabras, 23 meters high, gallons and liters of oil burning. And as it's growing dim at the end of the festival, Jesus stands up and says, "I am the light. I am the Messiah. I am the promised one. I have come into this world to bring light and to bring people out of darkness. I have come into this world so that you might shine." If we look from the beginning, from Genesis to Revelations, the Bible is full of references to light. In most cases, it's referring to Jesus or the Messiah. But many times, like we saw with the nation of Israel, it was referring to us as believers, to us as followers of God, that we, once we have received the light, then we must be the light, and we must shine the light as we have received it. Jesus said in John chapter 12, verse 46, and I'm using the New Living Translation, "I have come as a light to shine in this dark world, so that